different. Your intro should be one person, and then one person, and then one person.
What do you mean?
Like, so take a shot of just me sitting here, take a shot of you just sitting here, and then take a shot of the biggest interview mistakes. I really want to burst out laughing.
This video, as you can tell from the title, is our biggest interview mistakes. Mistakes that not like we didn't personally make them, but we know of people who made them, or we thought about these mistakes and while we were at our medical school interviews. Now, yeah, you're probably wondering why we're dressed so smart. Actually, we've just been filming for a video project for our degree. This is Sahil and this is Az. We're all studying management. Where are you guys from? Uni?
Oh, I'm from King's.
I'm from Imperial.
And you're both studying
Management.
But medics
we're medics
management.
as well.
Yeah, so basically we're all medics, yeah, and we've all done interviews at various universities and we all got our offers. That's why we're here.
Pretty much.
So, to start off with, the first mistake, like what do you guys think, one of the biggest mistakes?
I think my top tip and like the biggest mistake people make is just staying silent before an interview. So typically your interview day, you turn up an hour before your interview and you sit in this waiting room or they give you a room to sit in essentially, and you're silent for that hour just before your interview, and you want to be in the practice of speaking. It's like using an old car. It's like if you haven't driven your car for like 5 years, it's just been sitting there. The first time you start it up, you're going to have problems with it. So you want to practice speaking. Just speak to the person next to you. Everyone's going to be nervous. You want to get over those nerves. Speak to the person sitting next to you. Just ask them how the day's been, how far have they traveled. So you're in the habit of speaking. So the first time you speak in the interview isn't the first time you've spoken that day, essentially.
One like kind of opposite to that in terms of speaking is that in the actual interview, one thing that I did a lot that I had to kind of get over is not being afraid to not talk. Like, for example, when you get a question that kind of baffles you a little bit, your instinct is to just kind of start talking, and you just kind of just go for it because you're like, you don't want to seem like you don't know what to say. So you have this instinct to just start baffling. Whereas what I think is a lot better and in fact reflects better on you is if you are taken aback by a question, you just kind of take a second to compose yourself. You can even say, that's an interesting question, just give me a second to think about that.
Yeah.
And I think that comes off a lot better.
So that actually leads on to the second point that I was going to mention. So another big mistake is people rush into their answers. So like as was saying, if you get asked a question, don't feel like you have to answer it straight away. And the worst thing is, in an interview, 1 second of silence feels like a minute. So then 2 seconds feels like 2 minutes. So like literally it's ridiculous. Like you just think, okay, just because I've been thinking about my answer for a second or 2 seconds, that there's been dead silence for ages. It's not. Like they expect it and they want that. 5 seconds of like thinking time before you speak shows that you're composing, thinking through your answer and making sure that you're saying what is correct. Because it's easy to just say something straight away, but you don't want to make mistakes and you want to make sure that you're telling them everything that you want to get off. So I think that's the second thing, like don't rush into your answer.
I think third thing is always do your research. I want to say it's a common mistake because it happens more times than you think it would. People just haven't done the research about the university or about medicine sometimes and the reasons why they applied. And they sort of say, okay, fine, let's just go into the interview. And
this actually happened with my friend. So you're going into medical school, right? You're going to have to do prosection or dissection. You need to know the difference between them. But my friend unfortunately did not know. So, and he didn't even know what the university offered. So when they asked him, do you prefer prosection or dissection? He ended up talking about flashcards apparently. I don't know how it led to flashcards, but anyways, if you want to see that video as well, it's I'll put a link in the description. It's titled "The Hardest Medical School Interview Questions." But yeah, like Sahil was saying, just do your research because you will be asked these questions, and if you don't know, you're gonna look like a fool. My friend didn't get his offer because he messed up on that question. He got offers from other universities, but except that one. So Any other mistakes?
Yeah, so this is one I've personally made. Don't use words or talk about things that you don't actually know about.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I had an interview. I'm not gonna say where, but it was a panel interview at a London university, and I started speaking about homeopathic remedies, and what I meant to say was herbal remedies, but I was so far in. I was like, no, I'm not. I'm doubling down. So I was trying to convince these two senior professors that I knew what homeopathic remedies were and they didn't. And that's just completely the wrong way to do things. If you made a mistake, just own up to it. Be like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my bad. I think there's been a misunderstanding. I meant this, or just be like, I'm sorry, I'm not 100% sure on this topic. Of course, if it's a topic they're like sort of prodding you and they want you to like, especially for Oxbridge interviews, you might not know everything and they might ask you some sciencey questions and you want to explore that. That's completely fine. You can give your theories, but don't, be prepared to say I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, and that actually links in with the next thing that I was going to mention. So personal statements. Now, they will ask you questions on your personal statement, and like Sahil said, don't mention anything in your personal statement. It's probably too late now, but if you have mentioned something in your personal statement that you've sort of fabricated or exaggerated a little bit, you will probably get pulled upon. So 2 examples that I have is a friend who said he went snowboarding and he's quite an avid snowboarder. Somehow the interviewer also went snowboarding and loved it. So he started asking questions about that. And that's when they realized, okay, you haven't been snowboarding, have you? So that was one example. Another example was EPQ. Now this happens year on year. So many people talk about their EPQ and like prostate cancer research that they're looking into for their EPQ, or this research or that. In the interview, you will probably get put in with a clinician who has done research in similar fields. So when they ask you about questions and research articles that you've read so far on that EPQ title, just make sure you have answers ready and research that isn't outdated.
Another one, but this is more specific just to MMI, but I think to be fair that's what most unis are turning towards now, so Imperial's changing to MMI as well. It's quite a basic one and quite an obvious one, but it's really, really difficult to implement. After every station, no matter how badly it went, you have to just completely forget about it, which I found really, really hard to do, but you just have to try your best to do it, because obviously, as we all know, they're all examined separately, so even if you completely flop one, you can still, pass overall.
Yeah.
So even if one goes badly, just do your absolute best to just take it out of your head and not be thinking about it in the next station, which again, it's so hard to do, and I don't even know how you can practice making sure you do that, but be aware that it's something that will happen in the interview, more likely that you'll be in your next station and you'll be thinking about, oh, I should have said this in the one before, or that's what they were trying to ask, but whatever, just cut it out of your head as much as you can and move on.
Yeah.
That'll be better in the long run.
Any other mistakes?
Not mistakes, but this is a tip, I guess, is to just practice. If you have a group of friends that are applying for medicine, run your own mock MMIs, and that should hopefully combat some of the nerves and help you do a little bit more research, push you towards doing the research about a specific uni or about a specific field within medicine, so that when you are answering the questions in real life, you've thought about them before and it's not the first time you're hearing them.
I think that's everything. We literally had 15 minutes to film this video, or 10 minutes, because there's a group of people who want to come in and use this lecture theatre to play the piano over there. So I'm glad we got this done within 10-15 minutes. We literally
Better than our final project.
So thank you guys for watching. I'll put all the links in the description below. You can buy my interview notes, etc. On my website, and the links are down below. You can also see my other interview videos if you'd like, and I'll also put their social media somewhere around there. So thanks for watching, guys, and bye for now.
Nice.
Wait, that was it.
Yeah, that was like one of the smoothest, least planned videos.